Hello and welcome to Max Wellness. I am Erin Maxwell, owner and founder and creator of, you guessed it, Max Wellness. Tonight we are going to be working on the first limb of yoga, the yamas, which if you've been following along on our signature program, we've been talking about the 5 principles of the yamas, and the first one is Ahimsa. So it is non-stealing. So when we practice this evening or today, this morning, whenever you are on your mat practicing this flow, just remember to be kind and gentle with yourself, that we are going to embody how we feel on the mat and bring it out into the world. So ahimsa, non-violence, not stealing, really being kind and gentle with your energies as we are moving through each pose. So each one, we will probably hang out a little bit longer than our normal vinyasa flow and quicker than our yin yoga. So really finding the juicy points in the body and in each stretch or lengthening and strengthening. So we'll talk a little bit more as we move along into our practice. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into a child's pose. So coming onto the mat, and let me know, anyone that's out there, if you can't see me. As everybody knows, the classes are being recorded live. So if you hear me call out someone's name, just know that that's what's happening there. So otherwise, coming to the mat, knees nice and wide, toes to touch, sinking down towards your heels. And again, if that's not available to you, then feel free to grab a block, a cushion, or anything like that. So there are blocks in our cabinet over here if you need it. Otherwise, go ahead and bring your forehead down to the mat, third eye to touch the mat, lengthening out your arms, letting your arms be long, and just melting in. I'm going to move the camera back a little bit so you can see me on the floor. And just sinking and melting into this shape, into this asana practice, into this flow, releasing your mind, releasing your breath, and really finding what is interesting and juicy. Again, we are finding non-violence. So not only is it out into the world and also in our own bodies. So taking breaths at your own pace, finding what feels good and nice and juicy in your body. Energetically sweeping everything off of the mat, sweep away the day. Sweeping away any negative thoughts. And just simply coming into our place, into the mat, and just be. So you'll see Izzy McGee roaming around this evening. She is got a little extra spunk in her step this evening. So just utilizing any of her distractions to your benefit of being able to let it all come out, roll down your back like a duck, and let it all go. Gently rocking your forehead side to side, waking up your third eye. Bring the 2 halves of your brain together. Getting out all the last little bits of fidgets. And coming fully into your practice, into your body, into your space. And gently start to notice your breath. Just observe to notice how it's feeling, if it is light, if it's short, if it's deep. Again, just being the seer and just noticing. And start to lengthen your breath, inhaling through your nose and exhale out your mouth, HA. Let it come from the back of your throat as you're squeezing all of the air out, knitting your ribs together, imagining your belly button dropping to the front of your spine. And inhaling, coming all the way up, making your belly full and round. Let it come all the way up to the rib cage, the front, the sides, the back, all the way up to the collarbones. Taking one more sip of air, opening up your mouth, HA. Inhale through your nose. Let it be omnidirectional. Really feeling the space in the expansion through your rib cage as you move through your breath, pausing at the top and exhaling, letting the air squeeze out from the top, imagining you're pouring a glass of water, letting your chest fall. Imagine your belly button drop into the front of your spine. And on your next inhale, come all the way up, inhaling through your nose in your child's pose. Staying in your child's pose. And exhaling out your nose, sealing your lips. Finding your Ujjayi pranayama breathing. And taking a few more rounds of breath here. And on your next inhale, inhale slowly, gently pushing yourself up, and we'll come into a seated position. So again, finding a seated cross-legged position, and if you feel that your knees and hips are tight and your knees are popped up, this is a great place for your towel or blanket or any little surface to put the edge of your booty on, letting your knees drop. We're going to do a couple different mudras this evening. So they are, and if you, again, as always, feel like you do not want to do this, these are always suggestions. So as we sit here, this is our focus, our concentration. And if you are wanting to hone in your energy and be more introspective, keeping your palms down, this circle here is to find focus. And if you are needing a little bit more energy or feeling a little punky like Izzy McGee, then feel free to have your palms up. And we'll just close our eyes here. And take a moment to thank yourself for showing up, being here, being fully present, arriving to the mat. 90% of our effort is just showing up and arriving to the mat. After that, the work really becomes play. And taking a moment to dedicate your practice to someone or something. To continue to be the ripple effects out into the world as we move off of the mat to share our strength, health, and positivity. Stacking each vertebrae on top of one another. Finding your sits bones. Tucking your chin ever so slightly. Being here fully in this present moment. you're ready, gently fluttering open your eyes. And again, just notice. Notice how you feel in this space, in this breath from just a few moments ago from when we started. And we can go ahead and release our mudras and start opening up and warming up our wrists. So you can make some circles. You can change directions. Just working out any of the kinks if you've been on the computer. If you've been pulling your dog or your dog's been pulling you. And again, as always, finding what's interesting. Being sure to change directions if you have not already. And this time we're going to take our left arm and let it come straight out in front of us, letting your shoulder drop. So if you have your shoulder up into your neck, go ahead and release your shoulder down and back, engaging your serratus anterior, that muscle on the side that looks like a serrated knife edge, and pushing through the heel of your hand. Feeling the forearm open up. These are our extensor muscles. The extensor starts around your elbow area, so we want to open that up. And if you want a little bit more, you can take your other hand and pull your fingers back. And breathe. And then we'll release our palms down. So now we're working our flexor muscle group. This is on the bottom side of your arm. You can feel lengthening here as you feel a little bit of strengthening here. And as always, breathe. And then go ahead and release. And shake your arm out if you need to, and let it come down to the mat or to your knee. And we'll do the other side. Inhaling, bringing our right arm out forward. Letting your arms be long, dropping your shoulder. So if you're here, engaging your infraspinatus and subscapular muscle as you engage the serratus anterior on the right side, and breathe. And if you want a little more, of course, you can pull your fingers back and get a little bit more. And then we'll drop our hands down, working our extensor and flexor muscles in our forearm. Pull your hand down here. And then we'll go ahead and release and wind it on down to the mat. We'll take a few shoulder shrugs. So really inhaling, bringing your shoulders up tight, 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 tight. So your no neck Joe. If anybody remembers the cartoons, I think it was from the 90s, No Neck Joe. And exhale, release. Let your shoulders drop, releasing down. And we'll go ahead and shrug them up one more time. And exhale, let them drop. And why not? Let's do it one more time. Inhaling for a third time. Tight, 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 tight. And exhale, release, and let it go. Good. We're going to do some neck circles today. So finding what feels interesting and good. So no harming. So it almost on the principle of like we are in our yin yoga of the non shearing, tearing, pulling, really trying to get into it, just ease into it. So if it feels too much, then go ahead and back off. So we'll go ahead and exhale our chin to our chest and breathe. Taking nice big inhales And exhale. Lengthening out your neck and the back side a little bit more. And on your next inhale, bringing your chin to 45. So in between your breastbone and your shoulder. And then going ahead and turning your head completely to the right side or left side, depending on which way you decided to let your neck rolls. We'll go ahead and release, let our head fall back, and I'm going to pull my hair up. If you need to have a small hand towel as a guide behind your neck. So we never want to crunch our neck all the way back like a flip top head. So if you need to have a guide, you can always use a hand towel. And this is really as far back as we want our head to fall back. We have all of our vertebrae, which holds our spinal cord. You just don't want to be rubbing those bones and pinching off your spinal cord. And go ahead and roll in your ear to your left shoulder or your opposite shoulder from where we started. And gently at the 45-degree angle. And then coming back down, chin to chest. And we'll go the opposite direction. So if you started with your chin to the right, then go to the left and vice versa. Letting your head roll back. Almost as if you are drawing a circle on the ceiling from the scalp of your head. So imagine you have a string with a pencil on the top. It might make more of an oblong oval shape as you move through your neck rolls. And your neck rolls might be a little bit faster, so go at your own pace, go with your breath. Do what feels good in your body. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring our heads back to center. And let's go ahead and come onto all fours into cat-cow. However that may be, it doesn't have to look pretty. We just have to get there. Letting your knees fall directly below your hips, shoulders and palms directly below your shoulders, engaging your core. So if you already have a round back, lengthening out your spine. You can have your feet flat on the floor, or if it feels better for you, you can be on the balls of your feet. So finding what feels good in your body, ahimsa, non-harming, just full of love. And when you're ready, exhale all your air out into a cat, rolling out your upper spine. And breathe. Just stay here in this cat, right here. Opening up the space, opening up the backside of your lungs, the backside of your heart. Just taking note. Reaching up out of your shoulders, as always, engaging your serratus anterior. And when you're ready, slowly move through your cat-cow, inhaling, coming up, letting your belly hang heavy like a hammock, hoisting your ischial tuberosities up high to the sky, and taking some breath here. Again, we're going to be moving really slowly at first and warming everything up and feeling how our body is moving through the space today. You can go ahead and come back into your Halloween cat. If you want, you can make your cat-cow active. So we'll go ahead and move through your cat-cow gently and slowly at your own pace and what feels good in your body. If you want to bend back into your elbows and come up into your cow. Push back into your cat and sink down. Roll up or go in the opposite direction. Just begin to open up and warm up the spine. Bring your right shoulder to your right hip. Make a little C curve. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the other side. Really begin to play and explore. This is your time right now. We'll come back to our neutral spine when you're ready. Rolling over your toes into our first gentle downward facing dog. So feel free to keep your knees bent a lot here, pedaling at your feet left and right, right and left. Feet hip width distance apart. So if you need to figure out where that is, go ahead and walk your hands back towards your feet and make two fists and do your fists gently sweep the inner edges of your feet. This is where you want your feet to be, and then you can walk back out into your downward facing dog. Come up into the balls of your feet and get out any creaks or cracks. Being gentle and soft and mindful in all of our breath and all of our movement. Gently warming up the body. Just embodying this space, how we feel on the mat and how we bring it out into the world. So always remember, you can always come back to this space, in this place, in your mind, if you're out and about and in a situation where you find yourself getting a little frustrated or irritated. Just remember, Ahimsa. Spreading the love. Letting go what no longer serves you. And when you're ready, go ahead and come back down into a child's pose. If you want to keep your arms long, or if it's feeling good in your shoulders and you want to bring them back, you can always bring your arms back to the back side of your body. If that's the case, then keeping your knees together and letting your chest fall over your thighs. Third eye on the mat. And breathe. We're ready. Inhale our arms back up underneath our shoulders, onto all fours, and push back into our downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up just to hip level, so straight out. Instead of trying to get it high to the sky, let's just push it out right at hip level. Imagine you have a pop on your sacrum, and we want to make sure we don't spill the pop. So pushing back farther into your arms, opening up your shoulders. Let this be a nice, good shoulder opener. We're lengthening out the back side of our leg as we have our toes flexed. I'm not sure if you can see. Flex your toes to your nose. So this way we are engaging our quadriceps and lengthening out hamstrings. 3 hamstrings to 4 quadriceps. And exhale, placing your foot onto the mat. On your next inhale, bringing your left foot straight out. Hip level. Flexing toes to your nose. And breathe. If you need to, you can always keep a nice soft bend in your grounded foot, in your grounded leg. When you exhale, finding a little bit more length. One more inhale. And exhale, foot to the mat, downward facing dog. Let's walk our feet up towards our hands for a ragdoll. Letting your torso fall over your thighs. You can grab opposite elbow pits. Letting your head hang heavy. If you need to, bend your knees. Bend them a lot. And with each exhale, you can lengthen out a little bit more. And right here, we'll shake our head out no for no more negativity. Shake it out for yes, for all the good things to come. So we've already woken up our neck, so it should feel nice and gooey. And finding some stillness, releasing your palms down to the mat. Bending your knees a lot here and gently, slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time, stacking each vertebrae, 5 lumbar, 12 thoracic, coming up 7 cervical, rolling your shoulders down and back, letting your palms face forward. Good, and breathe. We'll bring our toes to touch, our big toes to touch. Finding our ground, finding our strength in our mountain pose. You can either have your eyes open or closed here. Rooting down into the earth, picking up all 10 toes. See if you can, are you gripping with your toes? Pick up all 10 toes. And then gently releasing them back down onto the mat, engaging your glutes, engaging your quads. Finding your soft gaze, finding your drishti. Your focal point, one pointed focus. And breathe. Inhale, super sweep, both arms up high to the sky, and exhale, bringing through heart center, forward fold. Bringing your hands onto the mat, step it back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, right leg lifts just to hip level. Exhale and breathe. On your next inhale, bringing your right leg up high to the sky. And exhale, knee to nose. Really bringing up your knee up towards your nose, rounding your neck. Using your lower abs, pushing into our cat and our upper back. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg lifts, high to the sky. Push it back farther out of your arms. And exhale, downward facing dog. Placing your foot gently on the mat where it was once before. Inhale, left leg lifts just to hip level. Hold it here. Inhale, high to the sky, all the way. Exhale, knee to nose. Rounding out your upper back, using your lower abs, squeezing your knee up a little bit more towards your nose. Inhale, left leg lifts, high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Beautiful. Take 3 mindful breaths here. You can always open your mouth and AJ, let it all go. Sealing your lips, sealing your practice. Finding the internal energy and heat from within in this resting pose. You can always come down to child's pose if this is too much. No shame, no game. Ahimsa, be kind and gentle to your body. All the day, we're always pushing and pushing and pushing and going and feeling like we have to continue and not take a breath and not take a rest. This is the space to do it. Non-judgment. And if you're in a child's pose or any other space, if you want, you can go ahead and join myself and our friends into our downward facing dog. Inhaling your heels high. Exhale, knees low into our turbo dog. So knees lifted up off the mat. Imagine that you have a coil, a spring, and really winding up to exhale all the way, walk all the way for a forward fold, feet to hands. As Release and let it go. Take 3 mindful breaths. Option is always you can grab your opposite elbow pits and start to roll on the heels to the balls of your feet and maybe side to side, getting a sense of your whole foot, making sure to not grip with your toes, and coming to a center point so you can feel the 3 points on your feet, the bottom of your foot and your heel, the balls of your feet. Releasing your arms if you have them, and gently and slowly bending your knees a lot if you need to, rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time and rolling your arms and shoulders down and back. Palms face forward. Breathe. Inhale, super sweep, both arms up high to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Placing your hands on the mat, step it back, downward facing dog. We're going to move on. And breathe. Inhale, right leg lifts high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, low lunge, placing your right foot on the mat, letting your left shin come onto the mat. Inhale, torso and arms up, low lunge. Exhale, sink it down into your right leg. Left hip forward, right hip back. Tucking your tail as much as you can. Inhaling your arms a little bit higher to the sky. This time, cactus your arms. So this is a cactus. Cactus your arms and go ahead and reach back, opening up your chest. Opening up your throat, and inhale, arms up high to the sky, and exhale, sink it back into a half split. You can stay here, flexing your toes to your nose. If you want, you can always sit back onto your back leg and lean forward. Exhale, lean forward. Or if you want, you can stay high up here. If you have your blocks, you can have your blocks here, placing your hands on your blocks. Half split, really feeling opening up the hamstrings, a little bit of your glutes, opening up the gastrocnemius. Well, it'd be gastrocnemius because it's singular, and your soleus muscle. It's like a soulfish. It's big and flat underneath the gastrocnemius that make little upside down hearts. Inhale, back up, low lunge. Sink it forward, right hip back, left hip forward, rolling your shoulders down and back, trying to get your palms to face each other. You can have your fingers open, or if you need to, you can keep all of your fingers together. And exhale, sink it back, half split. And breathe. Yep. Inhale up. Good. And exhale, place your hands on the mat, rolling over your back foot, step it back, downward facing dog. Oh, good. And breathe. Inhale, left leg lifts high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Low lunge, placing your left foot on the mat, letting your right shin come down flat to the mat. Inhale, torso and arms up. And exhale, sink down into your left leg. Left hip back, right hip forward. And you guessed it, breathe. Inhale, arms a little bit higher to the sky, and exhale, cactus your arms for a baby back bend, opening up your chest. On your next inhale, bringing arms up high to the sky, and exhale, sink it back, half split. Finding what feels good in your body. So immediately, I felt my hip pull over to the right. So really being mindful to not sink down into your right hips, keeping your hips level. And again, if you need to, you can sink down all the way onto your back leg and lean forward, finding a nice stretch in the hamstrings. Always, if you need to, having a nice soft bend in your leg, pushing through your heel, right? To really get the length. On your next inhale, come back up to a low lunge and sink down. Good. And breathe. Inhale, arms up a little bit more. And exhale, sink it back. Half split. Again, if you have blocks, you can always have your hands on your blocks here. If you need to, you can always sink down all the way down. Nice straight back. And exhale, lean forward. Finding the interesting points in your body. Finding the space and length. Finding the peace and calmness in each one of these poses. Inhale, come back up to a low lunge. Exhale, place your hands on the mat, step it back, downward facing dog, and breathe. Good. Inhale, heels high, knees low, look forward. Walk or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. If you need to, you can always stay here for a nice halfway lift so you can keep your thighs parallel to the mat, letting it's almost as if you're setting up for a chair pose for your halfway lift. Or you can keep your legs long and nice flat back, bringing your hands to your shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, super sweep, arms up, high to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. And breathe. Inhale, super sweep all the way up. And exhale, forward fold, step it back, downward facing dog. We're going to move on. Inhale, right leg lifts, high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Stay on the back wall of your foot for a crescent lunge. High on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, torso and arms up, crescent lunge. Good. Right hip back, left hip forward. Again, always finding, if you need to, have your knee bent, your back leg bent. If it needs to be bent all the way right here, beautiful. Scissoring your legs. Inhaling, arms up high to the sky. And exhale, flow. Let it go. Hands to the mat. Step it back. High plank pose. And we'll hold our high plank pose here, pushing your heels towards the back wall. Bringing your knees down onto the mat. And exhale, chaturanga, letting your elbows sweep the sides of your rib cage, coming all the way down to the mat. Inhale up for a baby cobra. And exhale, release down to the mat. Listen carefully, we're going to do something a little different. Let your arms come long onto the mat. Inhaling your legs up off of the mat. Inhaling your chest up off of the mat. And then bringing your arms up to meet. It's like a reverse boat pose. And breathe. We're strengthening our back. And you know how I feel about our spine. You're as young as your spine. So we want to keep it nice and lubricated and strong and healthy so we don't have low back problems or hip problems. And exhale, release your left ear onto the mat. Let it all lay and breathe. Find the peace and the serenity in each pause. And just simply be. And sigh it all out. On your next inhale, bring in your palms up beneath your shoulders and push it back. into your downward facing dog. And there's many ways you can get into your downward facing dog. You can push up onto all fours and roll back, roll over your toes. You can just go ahead and push yourself up, whatever feels good in your body. Inhale, left leg lifts high to the sky for crescent lunge, other side. Bringing your knee into your nose, placing your left foot on the mat, staying high on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, torso and arms up, high to the sky. Good. Pulling right hip forward, left hip back. And exhale, sink a little bit more into your front leg. Good. And breathe. Inhale, arms a little bit higher to the sky. And exhale, let it flow. Placing your hands onto the mat, step it back, high plank pose. We're gonna hold our high plank pose. Hold it here. Engaging your core, tucking your tail, lengthening out your spine, pushing your heels towards the back wall. And if you want to, you can stay in your high to low, or you can always bring your knees down to the mat. And exhale, chaturanga, come all the way onto the mat. Lengthening your long arms long to the mat. Inhale, lifting up your legs and thighs up off the mat. Lift your chest up off the mat and feel free to lift your arms. You can always leave your arms on the mat. You can place your palms down to help find a little bit extra to push your chest up and lifting your legs up a little bit higher for our reverse boat. And breathe. Lengthening out your neck, nice and long. Looking a foot in front of you. And exhale, release everything onto the mat, releasing your right ear onto the mat. And breathe. On your next inhale, bringing your head to center, palms below your shoulders. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose, crescent lunge. Let it go, let it flow. Inhale, torso, arms up, high to the sky. And exhale, sink down into your front leg. And breathe. Feeling the strength and the power and the energy coming from the universe and the skies and heavens from above. Filling up your body, filling up your soul. And when you're ready, open it up, warrior two. I'm going to turn around so you guys can see me. Sinking down into your front leg, finding the beauty in this pose. Warrior two, it's so powerful. So behind our arm that's behind us, that's the past. We're letting it go. Let it flow out your fingertips, out your back arm. It's the past. Your front arm is the future. It's to what is to come. And right here in the center is the present. So be here, find this balance in the present in your warrior two. And breathe. Making sure your front leg, your knee isn't splaying too far inward or outward, making sure your knee lines up with your second toe. Good. Circle sweep all the way down in the mat. You know what to do. High to low, let it flow. High plank pose, low plank pose. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. And exhale, roll over your toes, push it back, downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale, left leg lifts. You know what to do. Crescent lunge. Bringing your knee to your nose, gently placing your left foot onto the mat. Inhale, come up, crescent lunge. Make sure your hips are facing the front, right? So if you can really feel one hip being pulled back, energetically, if you just can't, it's just not there yet, which that's okay. Every day with yoga practice, we can get a little bit farther. Inhale, arms up, reaching up out of your torso. One more time, open it up, warrior two. Good. And breathe. Nice. Finding the grace. Keep breathing. When you're ready, circle sweep both arms down in the mat. Step it back. High to low, let it flow. Meet in downward facing dog or child's pose, wherever you need to be in this non-violence practice, in our Ahimsa, finding what feels good and feels right in this space, in this time, right now. And let this be a resting pose. Let this be a cleansing pose, whether in your downward facing dog or in your child's pose. This is your time, your space, your breath, your body, your mind, reaching out. Listen and slow down and find the grace in your yoga practice, not yoga perfect. Good. If you're in a child's pose, inhaling, coming onto all fours. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, heels high, knees low, look forward, walk or hop to the front of your mat. If you're advanced, you can always do a handstand there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, super sweep, arms up high to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Closing your eyes. Finding your breath. Remembering why you came, who your dedication was to. And let it all go. Inhale, super sweep, arms up, high to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. And hang out here. This time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take our hands, the palms of our hands, and reach back behind your heels, underneath your feet. Try to keep your forearms in your biceps behind your calves here. Take both hands and grab your heels. If you need to, squat down, really get down into it, right? Letting your chest come onto your thighs. And take a nice inhale and exhale. Our goal is to keep our forearms onto our calves and lengthen out your legs, bringing your forehead and knees or your forehead and nose to your shins. So we lengthen out. And breathe. And inhale, releasing both palms out from underneath your heels and slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Inhaling our hands to our heart center. This time we're going to do a different mudra. This one is, I'm going to get out of so stay in your standing position, but just so you can see me outside of the frilly thing here. So it's like a lotus flower. This is actually called Padma, lotus, right? So it's just like, get a little closer so you can see. So it's your pinkies and your thumbs to touch, and then your hands are open. So it looks like a lotus flower, maybe you have in your pond. So remember, the lotus is coming up from out of the mud and comes out of this mud into this beautiful flower. So you can stay in your standing position. I'm just here so you can see what it looks like. And we're drawing inspiration from the purity of this lotus. And breathe. Releasing any fear, any self-doubt. And just knowing that from the muck, up comes the most beautiful flower the 1,000-petal lotus, finding our way to samadhi, which is liberation. And gently you can close your lotus flower if you like, meaning you can bring each finger together and sealing up your lotus flower like it does in the evening when the sun goes down. And closing your eyes if they aren't already. And breathe. And just notice. And inhale, super sweep, both arms up high to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, hands down in the mat. Step it back, downward facing dog. And coming down to the mat, bringing your knees wide, either finding your child's pose or your falling leap. So if that means keeping your feet or your knees and shin together and letting your arms come out long, letting your forehead on the mat, or if you have a block, you can always put a block underneath your third eye. Let me grab that here. Or stay in your traditional child's pose. Arms out long, knees nice and wide, toes to touch. And breathe. And gently pushing yourself back up onto your shins or onto your thighs. We're going to go ahead and come all the way down to the mat for our floor series to bring it all together. Bringing your left foot inside your right thigh, turning your torso towards your right leg, right? So not too far to the left, not too far to the center. Let's bring it all the way in towards our torso, sitting up nice and tall if you need to. Always pull your flesh out from underneath your tush, and inhale, super sweep arms up high to the sky. And if you need to, bend your knee, pushing through your heel, and exhale. Let your body, let your torso fall over your right leg. Bringing your forehead and knee to touch. And if you need to, bend your knee a lot. Let your knee be really bent to get your forehead to your knee. That's okay. Reaching out towards your ankle, your calf, your ankle, or towards your foot. Lengthening out your hamstrings. Being kind with the thoughts that run through your mind. Letting go of the, oh, I can't, I should, I this, I that. It's all just distractions to keep you from the purity of your mind. And continue to breathe. And continue to push through your heel as you slowly begin to lengthen out your leg. And when you're ready, gently releasing, walking your torso up into a seated position. And you know, I always like to shake it out, lengthen out your other leg, and give a little shimmy shake. Other side, inhaling, bringing the palm of your bottom right foot to the inside of your left thigh, the inner thigh, and our adductors. If you've been following along, we really talked about adductors in our last class, so you know that they add and bring together. So flexing your toes to your nose, as always. You can't see in my camera here, but my toes are flexed. So flex your toes. That gives a little strength in your tibialis anterior, and lengthening out again the backside of your leg, your gastrocnemius, soleus, and hamstrings. Inhale, circle sweep, arms up high to the sky, and exhale, folding forward. Again, bending your knee as much as you need to. I don't know why I can't get in the camera tonight. And let it go. Letting your forehead touch your knee. connecting your third eye. Continue to breathe and gently and slowly pushing through your heel, finding the length, finding the strength. Simply being right here, right now, in this space. You can sigh it all out. And gently and slowly pushing your way up, back out into a seated position, lengthening out both legs. Give a little shimmy shake. Letting yourself be long. So bringing your arms behind your back at like I guess you'd say that was a 45-degree angle. So keeping your torso up nice and tall, opening up your chest. See how my toes are flexed? So having your toes flexed, and then hoist your hips up to the sky, opening everything up. So it's like a reverse bridge plank pose. Letting your toes come flat onto the mat. You can't see, let me see if you can see here. So as you hoist your hips up, opening up your chest, opening up your shoulders, opening up your abdomen, and exhale, sweeping down, letting your booty come down onto the mat, legs nice and long. Inhale, circle sweep arms up high to the sky, and exhale, fold forward. Again, if you need to bend your knees a lot here, do so. Ahimsa, non-harming, as you push through your heels. Letting your back be round. And breathe. If you need to, each time you inhale, bending your knees as much as you need to, and exhale, imagining your legs lengthening out nice and long. Opening up your low back, opening up that aponeurosis on the lower part of your back. This is all just really dense fascia here. This is the connector between the top and the lower half of the body. And gently releasing, letting everything go. Give yourself a little shimmy shake, placing the palms of your hands onto the mat. If you need to, cupcake your hands. It's okay. You can have cupcake hands here. You know, cupcake hands, remember, is when we have our hands up like this, right? So imagine you have a big cupcake with lots of frosting. Or if you can, and that's why we did our wrist openers earlier, having your hands flat on the mat behind you, opening up your chest. So immediately opening up, let your shoulders roll down and back, opening up your heart center, your sternum, opening up your throat, opening up the fifth chakra, opening up your third eye, opening up your third chakra, your abdomen, your fire, where all the Anji comes from, all the energy. Open it up. Hoisting your hips higher, 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 higher to the sky, opening up your shoulders, and exhale, release all the way down to the mat, forward fold, exhaling, letting it all go, and gently releasing and let that go, finding a little shimmy shake, and we'll come back onto our backs, elbow, elbow, let your head sink back, and come down into a Shavasana just for a moment, finding our reset button, and breathe. Finding a bridge pose, inhaling, bringing both feet flat onto the floor, keeping your feet hip width distance apart, knees hip width distance apart. If you need to, you can always grab a block and put it in between your knees. I like to have it at this angle in between the knees. If you really need a little bit extra space, you can always lay it flat like a lunch box, but otherwise I have it up like a cereal box in between the knees. As you're laying here, see if you can graze your heels with your fingertips. This is where we want our legs to be, grazing, just barely being able to graze your heels. Exhale, release, let everything go. On your next inhale, hoisting your hips high to the sky, just like we did on a reverse tabletop. If you want, you can roll over your shoulder, clasping both hands underneath your sacrum, hoisting your hips a little bit higher, letting your chest come to your chin. Coming up one more time. And exhale, releasing your hands if you clasp your hands and let it all go. Inhaling your knees up towards your chest. Good. We're gonna roll on our spine. Give a little gentle massage. So just finding a way to rock back and forth, gently massaging your spine. On your next inhale, sitting up into a boat pose, keeping your knees bent if you need to, making sure you're high up on your ischial tuberosities. You can always grab the sides of your thighs or behind your knees, nice flat back. If you want to move on, you can always bring your arms out in front. And if you're feeling really extra, you can bring your legs out nice and long. I'm not extra today, so I'm going to find the space where is good in your body today. And every day is different. Tomorrow, you may be able to lengthen out your legs or let go of the sides here. We're really engaging our abdomen right here. And then slowly and gently rolling, releasing everything back onto the mat. Good. And breathe, let it all go. Good. We'll do a bridge pose one more time. Inhaling, both feet flat on the mat. Being able to graze your heels with your fingertips if that's where you are today. Releasing all of the air. Exhaling, let it all go. On your next inhale, when you're ready, hoisting your hips up high to the sky. This is actually a preparation for wheel. So if you are feeling really super, then go ahead and go into your wheel, and we will stay here into our bridge pose. Again, if you'd like to roll over your shoulders and clasping your hands out from underneath, bringing your hips up a little higher, your chest towards your chin, and breathe. Find the strength and the ease in this pose. Finding what feels good in your body, creating space, opening up your hip flexors, and exhale, releasing everything onto the mat. Inhaling your knees to your chest, make a little ball, squeeze it all out. We'll go ahead and we'll rock back and forth on our spines a few times and see what feels good and interesting. And when you're ready, coming into your boat pose. Good. And stay here and breathe, whatever your boat may look like today. We're strengthening out triceps. So with your arms are nice and long, if your arms are long, this will really help with I call them high Bettys, when you wave and this starts to flap, it's hi Betty. Or hold behind your knees. And exhale, slowly sinking your boat, releasing your thighs and letting your whole body come onto the mat. Good, and breathe. Couple more poses here, and then we will find our final Shavasana. Inhale, left leg up towards your chest for wind removing pose, flexing your right toes to your nose, left knee outside left rib cage, left shoulder, and really finding the length and the strength in your right leg. Cutting off the supply to our lower half of our lymph system so we can really cleanse everything out. Taking your right palm outside of your left knee, drawing your left leg across right side body, keeping both shoulders on the mat. Here's a good place for a block if your knee doesn't make it to the ground. whether it's on lunchbox, crayon box, or cereal box. What feels good in your body today? Looking over your left shoulder, arms nice and wide like a T. Keeping both shoulders on the mat. We're finding a twist in our descending colon. Inhale, bringing your knee towards your chest, outside the rib cage. And exhale, release. Whoosh. Letting your lymph system move the nar through your body, the white blood cells, the cleaner, the pus. Your lymph system moves when you move. So that's why it's so important to move your body every single day. Inhaling both knees up towards your chest, keeping your sacrum on the mat, keeping your head on the mat, squeezing your knees towards your chest. We're working our transverse colon. We're cleaning out the hose. Give a little more squeeze here. You can really feel your biceps working. So we worked our triceps before. That is the 3 muscles behind the back of your arm versus your biceps. There's 2. So right, there's why it's a bi and a triceps is there's 2 originators on your biceps. So there's 2 spaces up on your collarbone actually where your biceps. There's also a coracoid process, and we'll get into that later. But that's the biceps, and triceps 3, right? There's 3 originating portions. And exhale, releasing legs all the way down to the mat. Whoosh. Ah. Feeling the flow, feeling your breath. Inhaling, right knee up towards your chest, flexing your left toes towards your nose, outside, let your right leg be outside your right rib cage, pulling your knee up towards your shoulder someday. Lengthening out your left leg. It's not necessary. You don't have to flex your left toes towards your nose. This is just an idea and a place to be to really open up more of your hip flexors on the left side. Finding a little passive, gentle strengthening your quadriceps and more lengthening in the backside of your leg. Taking your left hand outside your right knee and exhale, drawing your right knee across left side body, letting your head turn towards the right, arms nice and wide like a T, like a letter T. So I'm going to bring my arm up so you can see my arms nice and long. Keeping both shoulders on the mat for a gentle spinal twist. Maybe smile a little bit, knowing that you made it through your practice without causing any harm to yourself or to others. You're being that beautiful ripple effect, sending the love out into the world, knowing that all this space that you hold right here on the mat, let it reach out into the world. As you inhale, bringing your right knee back to center towards your chest for one more squeeze. Releasing your right leg on the mat when you're ready. On your next inhale, bringing both knees up towards your chest, lifting your head up off the mat, pulling your sacrum up off the mat, maybe even grabbing the bottom of your feet to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze your eyes, squeeze your face, squeeze your hair, squeeze your toes, squeeze your nose, squeeze it all out. Squeeze it, bring it, squeeze it. Exhale, release it all the way onto the mat, nice and long for your final Shavasana, your corpse pose, which means that we have completely wrung out and let go of what no longer serves you. You are no longer that person anymore. We've moved through. Each breath each pose with mindfulness, with love and space. And now we can just simply be, fully, simply be. Then your eyes be closed. Coming back to your breath. And just take notice on how you're feeling from when we started at the beginning of class. Continuing to spread the love to yourself. Filling up your cup first. This way you can serve others. And you've come to a space of peaceful calmness in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. And when you're ready, gently placing both feet flat on the floor. And inhaling both arms up overhead, rolling over onto your favorite side, letting your arm come across your chest. In this fetal position, coming back to the womb where it's safe and we're warm and being nurtured. And keeping your eyes closed if you're so inclined, gently pushing yourself back up into a seated position like how we began, with your legs crossed. Maybe switch it up and put the opposite leg in front this time from your normal. It's just noticing, and seeing how that feels. Move through your body what feels good as we release and let everything go. Inhaling, bringing your hands to your heart center, or you can always keep them onto your knees. This is your practice, your time, your yoga. You're yoking, you're bringing together your energy. Even though we are in this virtual space right now, it is so beautiful to bring everyone together in this sacred space, sharing our light, our love, and our energy. Continuing to take this off of the mat and into the world. As always, it has been an honor and a gift to move through your moving meditation practice. I truly honor the light that shines and reflects. And hopefully you can see the beacon of light that has been reflected onto me and being reflected back onto you. Namaste. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here and fully present and moving through your meditation practice together. And we will see each other again soon, hopefully on the mat. Thank you so much. Happy day. Thank you, everybody.